I want to say something to you today that I think you have been waiting for someone to say to you. Not a coach, not a book, not a motivational quote, just another woman who has been where you are, looking you in the eye and saying it out loud. You ready for this? You are allowed to become someone new. Not a better version of who you used to be, fiction of who you have been, someone entirely new with different priorities, different boundaries, different dreams than the ones that you were handed when you were maybe 22. Thought you had it all figured out. You're very different now, right? You are allowed to want things you have never wanted before. You're allowed to dream bigger. You're allowed to outgrow people, places, and versions of yourself that no longer fit. You are allowed to start entirely over, which is different. You're not starting from nothing. You're starting with a lot, with experience and knowledge. And you are allowed to start over at any age. At 40, at 45, at 50, at any age. Period. You are allowed. Whether you found this video first or whether you have been watching this whole playlist, I want you to know this video is for you. It's for all of you. For the woman who is in the earliest season, exhausted, depleted, not even sure what she wants anymore, don't even know who you are anymore, just knowing that something has got to change. For the woman who feels that maybe that stirring, that pull for something more, that just, that you're just keep talking herself out of it. For the woman who is rising in motion, but battling it in the doubt that shows up every time she gets, that little doubt that just shows up every time you get close to some next, that next level, but you don't really know yet because you keep stopping. And for the woman who's building, who has, done the work, who is creating something of her own and is ready for community and the support that just matches what she is doing. This video is for all of you because no matter which season you are in, the permission is exactly the same. So I want to show you something. Over the course of building this community, watching hundreds of women navigate reinvention, I started to see I started to see a pattern. And everyone goes through the same journey. The details are maybe slightly different. The timeline is a little different, but the seasons are always the same. I call it the four season of reinvention. Season one, it's awakening. This is like the earliest season. So the exhaustion, the emptiness, quiet knowing that something has got to change, even when you cannot yet really name what it is. This season is all about recovery before rebuild. It's about paying attention to your body, listening, giving yourself permission to want more. Season two, I like to call stirring. This is when the pull begins. Like you can feel who you are meant to become, but that gap between where you are and where you want to be feels like so big. The stirring season is not a problem. It's a direction. And it is your future self is saying to you or trying to get your attention, like, hello, woman, there you have something bigger that is meant for you. Just we need to wake you up, right? Season three is the rising, and that just means you are in motion now. You have started, You know you're meant for something. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do the work. You're doing it, but it's a little messy in the middle, right? It's loud. The doubt creeps in and it keeps showing up. It keeps knocking you down. The rising season is where real confidence is built, not before the action, but through it. Like take that step forward. That's the only way you're going to build that confidence is if you kept showing up. I know when I was scared to death to public speak, and the first time I had to give a real public speak was in front of over over 1,000 Marines, men and women off in uniform. And here I was, a civilian, giving this talk in front of all of them. I was so nervous. I had all of the slides prepared. I was so nervous. I wanted to back out, but I couldn't. I had to go through it. And that pushing through it built the confidence to deliver more. And then I've given speeches on stages for thousands. I think the highest audience I've had at the time was 10,000 was in the audience. So you build that confidence through it. Scary, but you do it. Or is building. This is where everything just kind of comes together. It's your wellness is a foundation now. Your identity is clear. You're ready to build something powerful. Income, legacy, that is entirely yours. Four seasons. Every woman goes through them. And the most important thing I've learned from watching this journey over and over again is this: no season is permanent. Isn't that good to hear? No season is permanent. You do not stay in the awakening forever. You do not, even though it feels like it sometimes, you do not stay in the stirring forever. And every season will move forward when you have more around you. And I also want to address something that I think holds a lot of women back from giving themselves the permission to begin. And that is the fear that over means going back to the beginning. Losing the years, losing the experience, being a beginner again at any age when you feel like you should have had it all figured out is incredibly heavy feeling, heavy burden to take on. But here is what is actually true is you're not starting over. You're starting from you're starting from 30 years of resilience. Or from knowing exactly what you do not want, which that's a big thing, knowing exactly what you do not want because you've had all that experience behind you that you know what you want and don't want now, right? From relationship to your worth, self-respect, boundaries, from hard seasons that showed you were stronger than you knew. Everybody's had life happen to them, and through those seasons has taught you incredible things. Right? And who reinvents herself at 40 is not starting from zero. She's starting from everything that she's been through. And that is a huge, huge, huge advantage that a 22-year-old does not have. Now, mind you, they may have naivety. Is that the word? But you have all that experience and knowledge to take with you. So you are not behind. You're not too late. You are on time where you're meant to be, right? When I hit rock bottom and completely lost myself after walking away from that significant income and community and sales organization, when I was wallowing that self-pity, that self-doubt, I that season was so dark for me. And no one around me knew what that was like because the people who there's a very few people there, and it was hard to talk about. It was hard to talk about that loss of identity when others who I was talking to didn't really understand what I was going through. It wasn't until I found those like-minded people who have been where I was able to walk with them and talk with them, have that community support, and to realize that my struggle was my identity. And once I figured that out, the clarity, it just all came together. And I was having that pull for something bigger. And I knew I was meant for more. That season, that was not it. That I was meant for something even bigger than what I had built before. And the fear that wanted to keep me small, the self-doubt, I didn't allow that to stop me because I knew that stirring was real. I just needed to take that next step. And I had to move through the messy. And believe me, it was messy. I mean, you go back and listen to my first podcast episodes, um, and when I was trying to figure everything out or watch what I was doing on social media, you'll see I went through this messy middle, but I learned. I learned resilience. I learned to keep going. I learned that people need, the more and more I talked to women, the more and more I knew that people needed what I had to offer. And so, Mamas Who Lead is what came out of that season. Mamas Who Lead is, I built it to hear, to showcase women's incredible stories and what they're building and build this community of other mamas who have went through this identity crisis, this season of change. And it's so amazing to have something of my own that I have built. And and the reason why I built Mamas Who Lead is because I did not want any woman to have to figure this out alone. And that is what this community is for. So, if this is something you are and if something you're building, you are genuinely proud of it and you just can't wait to share it. That's what I'm building. That's what I want for you. And I want to tell you about what I'm building here, because everything I've shared in this playlist, the Four Seasons, the reinvention framework, this is real. I am real. Um, the wellness, the identity work, the income conversations, it all lives inside one place, and it's called From Her to CEO. And it's a community and a program specifically for women who are done wanting, who are done waiting, women who are ready to move through their season, whatever season they are in, with real support, real community, and real path to building income. That fits the life that they want. That build income that fits the life that you actually really truly want and desire. Not a hustle culture, not corporate structure, not having to go in 9 to 5, but and not another program that asks you to become someone you have wanted to be, but a community of women leading themselves first and building everything else from the foundation. It's not quite open yet, but it's coming. And the women who are going to be inside it first are the ones who are already paying attention, which means you. So, if From Her to CEO sounds like what you've been looking for, here's what I want you to do right now. Come find me on Instagram, Instagram Laura Caroffino or Mamas Who Lead, that's Reinvent. That's it. I'll send you details personally. I'll tell you exactly what From Her to CEO is and when it opens and what it looks like to be inside it. And we'll have a real conversation, just two women talking about what you are, whether this is the right next step for you. So there's no pressure, no pitch, just a conversation. And I built Mamas Who Lead because I believe there is a generation of women right now who are waking up to who they actually are, actually capable of. And women who have been quiet for far, far too long, women who've been invisible for far too long, women who have been pouring into everyone else for so long that they forgot are allowed to have something too. You are allowed. You are not behind, you are not too late, you are not too old, and you are not broken, too tired, or too far gone. You are allowed to become someone new, and I would be honored to be part of that journey. I will see you inside.